Hey everybody, Candace D'Agnolo here with Pets Plus Live Beyond the Pages. I thank you for joining us tonight. It's a beautiful summer day, summer evening. August is the Sunday of summer. So if you're tuning in live, I just thank you so much because we've got a very special guest with us tonight. Let me just double check and make sure our live audience can hear us. If you can hear me, please type in the chat thread where you're from. Oh, looks like we've got Pamela from the magazine with us. And that's what we're doing tonight is we're talking about Pets Plus magazine. And look at this beautiful photo here. We've got Leel and Mumsy. So we are celebrating America's coolest store. That is what we're doing tonight, celebrating America's coolest store winner. The winner of it all is Leel Michelle from Wow Beauty Shoppe. Now, we do these Pets Plus Lives because it gives readers an opportunity to go beyond the pages with us, beyond the pages of this really cool magazine, to give you, the readers, access to experts and contributors throughout the pet industry and beyond even. Pets Plus has lots and lots of connections. And we do this because we believe in small businesses like yours. And I do it through Pet Boss Nation. I'm a coach and consultant helping independent brands and independent retailers. I'm also a former retailer as well. And Pets Plus just really cares because this magazine is a beautiful magazine. If you haven't gotten your free subscription, you definitely need to go to petsplusmag.com and you get your free copy. And you can also potentially get a chance to get featured. I mean, this magazine is full of reader experiences, real small business owner experiences. It is just one of the best trade publications out there. So definitely check it out. So one of the reasons I've already said we're here is because of this issue, the America's Coolest Store issue. And the magazine, it's their biggest contest of the year that they run, and it's their second annual contest. And this year it drew over 60 businesses to submit a pretty lengthy entry where they looked at essay questions and photos and different media from the stores that participated and sent in their submissions. And, you know, this month, the month of August, we're going to be featuring Leel. That's who we're talking to tonight. And then later on this month on, I think it's April 23rd, a Thursday night, actually, at 8 p.m. Eastern, we're talking with Found from Adopt and Shop and Urban Pooch. They're both the second and third place winners. And I'm actually going to be on location at Urban Pooch filming with them and streaming from there because they're in my hometown, Chicago. So the America's Coolest Stores, they are, it's not about so much about finding like the perfect business. It's really about looking at businesses that have done some really cool things that are still also works in progress because aren't we all? No business is perfect. But these stores, just like you and just like me as a small business owner, they each have their own uniqueness, their own dreams, their own aspirations that they put into their own business. And that's why I love that Pets Plus recognizes all the hard work that we're putting into our independent storefronts. So let's, without any further ado, I don't want to keep waiting any longer. I want to introduce our guest. But before I bring her on, let me just tell you a little bit about her. So this year's first place winner who's taking the crown, I love it. If you haven't seen it yet, I think I can pop right to it. She's got the crown on her head here in the magazine. I love that. That's so funny. It's perfect. She's taking the crown. It's Wow Beauty Shoppe, founded by Leel Michelle in 2006. She's an award-winning retro pet grooming salon, pet boutique, and doggy bakery in San Diego, California. Wow Beauty Shoppe is also home to award-winning international grooming apparel brand Retro Stylist Wear. So in following her career in corporate retail management and corporate amusement park management, Leel was inspired by her pint-sized Chihuahua Frida and now her standard poodle Mumsy, who's going to be joining us and looks pretty amazing. And she celebrates that she creates brands that utilize both her skills and her passion to build memorable businesses, catering to both pets and pet parents. Leel also talks at trade shows in the pet industry and helps educate fellow pet business owners through a Facebook group called Pet Boutiques. So I don't want to wait any longer. I want to welcome the Queen of Cool and her pooch, Leel Michelle. Hey!
Hello. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah. Hi, Leel. Hey, moms.
Here's Momsy. She's all dressed up for tonight.
the big awards ceremony.
Yes, thank you so much. It's so exciting. I mean, it's something that I didn't, honestly, I was very hesitant to even apply at first, and I got several, reminder emails, and I'm lucky, I'm very fortunate that I finally did, because it's been really amazing. And having my beautiful Mumsy be a cover girl is pretty exciting.
Totally. I mean, that's what I was thinking. I mean, look, you're on the cover of a magazine.
I know, she looks
so
amazing.
Cool. Not very many people ever get that opportunity. So check that off your bucket list.
That's right. We're very honored and very humbled, and we really appreciate it. And we love Pets Plus magazine.
So what have you done with since your success? What are some of the things you've done with the magazine now that you've won the title? Anything interesting?
Well, I couldn't resist. We were already in plans to print some very large format posters for our windows, and the pictures don't get better than those pictures that are in that magazine. So we did go ahead and send the poster to our printer, and so it's pretty large in my storefront window. And I don't actually love my big face in my storefront window, but it's marketing gold. I just, I mean, it's the only time, maybe the only time I'll be able to do that. So that'll be up for a little while. And so it's really interesting. Clients and neighbors that support us really well. I've seen them in front taking selfies with me and Mumsy on the window, which is, really, I mean, it tickles me. It's kind of embarrassing, but, it's been a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I can only imagine. Well, it's obviously, I think Mumsy really loves it though, actually.
Yes, she looks amazing. Yes.
She does look amazing. So, Leel, I am fortunate. I get to, we're friends, and I had an opportunity to visit San Diego earlier this summer.
Yeah.
Go to your shop and surprise you.
Yes, you did shock me. Yep.
I streamed. I was literally in the cab, and I started streaming live on Facebook, and I walk in to surprise her. But while I was there, I captured some video of her in her shop, and I thought we would give you an inside peek into what the store looks like, since she is the winner of America's Coolest Store. So I'm going to play a quick little video. I want you guys to see all of the really neat retro vibe they have there. And if you can pick it up as we go through all the cute little ways that she merchandises and the really unique pieces that she's collected and built and customized for her shop. So we're going to talk more about those specific things, but I want you to watch this quick video first.
Welcome to Wow Beauty Shop, and this is my new fabulous bakery. And so we are now making grain-free cakes and cupcakes. So in addition to my grooming shears, I've added a bakery apron to my new line.
Very cute apron.
Thank you. So we're able to actually make our treats on site now, and we've added some doggy donuts and mini bundt cakes, and I'm going to be the dog candy boss. So we've got a lot of fun stuff that's going to be coming up.
I love those. Do you make these here too?
I do.
I love those.
Those are so much fun. It's so much fun.
Cool. Well, you show us where your cakes are.
Okay, I'll show you. So we serve our cakes out of these self-vintage refrigerators. This green one actually came from Chicago. I call her Ethel, and this is Lucy. And so we sell a ton of dog beer by Bowser Beer.
Nice.
So all their different varieties. And then here's our dog cakes. So there we go. Dog cakes and cupcakes. So we wanted to make it very easy for the client to, you know, last minute be able to come in and grab something really quick for their doggy's birthday. Because as you know, it's really difficult when you're very busy to even remember your own birthday, let alone your dog's, and ordering that cake a week in advance.
All right, well, I just want to show you a little bit more of the shop while we're in here. She's still doing more ideas and more renovations and more. She just moved into this space, but look at this cool window. It's a gumball, giant gumball dispenser.
It is.
And then over here, we have
our original retro hair dry chairs. So, you know, we do some grooming here.
Cool, that's so cool. Yeah, the groomer is in the back.
Yeah, so I partnered with another groomer to take over my grooming salon, Gabriel Feitosa Grooming, and so he has his own business in the back, and it's worked out really well because then we can refer clients to one another, kind of help each other out. We get along really, really well, and he's adorable and super talented, so I don't have to worry about quality issues or anything like that. We get along really well for, you know, combining two businesses together. There's our post lady. Hi! No, we're good. Thank you. Bye-bye. And so then I'm able to, you know, get creative with my bakery, expand my boutique, and then also, of course, process and design for retro stylist wear, which I have in my little corner office here. So we've got, you know, a couple of designs we're working on and stuff like that.
You guys are getting an inside sneak peek into Leel's world.
That's right.
So guys, I know by the time you're watching this, you already know that Leel's the big winner of America's Coolest Pet Stores for Pets Plus.
I'm so excited.
She's so well deserved, and she's doing amazing things in the pet industry, and she's just done so many cool things here out of her shop and her brand. So we'll talk to Leel here now.
Hey, thanks for joining us.
All right, guys, wasn't that so cool? I do love that so much. I know Leel has done an amazing job coming up with unique displays around her store, and I just couldn't pass up the opportunity when I heard that she won and I was going to be in town to not bring you that video. So Leel, as we were watching it behind the scenes, some of the things that we pointed at, that we were talking about that we loved, is that it just makes you happy. That you love going to work, that environment makes you happy. Tell us more about that, why it's important.
Well, I feel that, you know, I like to create an ambiance and an environment for my clientele, my staff, and, you know, honestly myself. You know, when you are an entrepreneur and a business owner, you do spend a lot of time at your business. So it should be one that, you know, makes you happy when you walk through that door. And, you know, it should make your staff happy and your clients happy. And that's really my goal, to offer the services and products that I do in an ambiance that's really different and fun. You know, I think, you know, in America and all across the world, people still really love, you know, that Americana 50s retro ambiance, because it brings us back to a happy time. And, you know, things were a little bit simpler, and it was very colorful. It was, you know, the music was about love and happiness a lot of times, you know. And I suppose, you know, when I was very young, when I was a teenager, I was very attracted to all of that stuff because it just brought me to, you know, just a happy place. And I think that that's important. So it's important for me that my ambiance is inviting and memorable enough for my clients to never forget us ever, you know. And a lot of times when, say, somebody has called us and they said, oh, I don't remember if I've ever been there before. And then I'll just tell them, oh, then you haven't been here, because you'll definitely remember if you've been here. So, you know, I can say that with, you know, great confidence.
Yeah, it's so important. You know, you have a quote in the magazine that says a business shouldn't just be a place to buy things. All of the stores that you treasure also have that amazing ambiance. And it sets the tone completely.
Yes, exactly. Because I think that, you know, in today's marketplace with online, you know, e-commerce going as it is, it becomes more important to, what you doing, Muzzy? It becomes more important to create a place that is not just a place to buy stuff, because, right, people can do that online now. You know, they could just buy whatever they want online. So to get them into your store and make sure that they are kind of a loyal client, you have to be offering something a little bit more special than your competition. And California is very competitive in the pet industry. And I, you know, being that I've been an artist and a designer pretty much all my life, being able to, you know, use that as my canvas and create new and interesting concepts has been, you know, really lovely. You know, it's been really fun, you know, having the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, you painted those walls yourself.
Yes, I did. I had an idea in mind, and I didn't know if, you know, I had interviewed some muralists. I even have a nephew who's a muralist, but I was afraid that I couldn't get the idea across that I was really going for. So I spent 4 days on the drip mural because it kind of ties in with our drip cakes. And, you know, I was, by the end of those 4 days, I was really tired of painting. But I'm a perfectionist, and I've been an artist all my life. So, you know, that, you know, one of my first businesses as an entrepreneur was painting murals for children's bedrooms and painting storefront windows for corporate and private businesses. So, you know, that's just a skill that I've had. And as you know, all those skills that you pick up throughout your life, it just, you know, helps your portfolio, you know, to help you in whatever future venture that you know, create for yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, on that, just since you brought it up, some of the unique experiences you had when you were younger, you shared that, I don't know, maybe this is something you should bring into your corporate career at Wow Beauty Shoppe, but that you once drew caricatures of an endless line of Navy personnel and their families on an aircraft carrier in the middle of the ocean.
I did. That was, I had a private company that we provided artists for mostly corporate and private events. And one year we were hired to do an event. Several of me and my artists were hired to provide caricature and face painting services for the Navy and their families. So they have a family day every year. And it was one of the most unique experiences of my life, I have to say. So they invited us on really early in the morning. I think we had to go like 5 o'clock in the morning, fed us breakfast. We sat down, we were drawing for hours. They gave us lunch, and the lunch break, we all got earplugs, and we got to go up to the top of the aircraft carrier where, you know, they had a jet that took off and came back on while we were all up top. Yes. And then, you know, so that was kind of our lunch. And then we went back down and drew an endless line of, you know, friends and family of the Navy. So that was really exciting. The only bad thing that happened was I figured out I had motion sickness. So I had an endless line of clientele, you know, willing and ready to get their caricature drawn. And I was so sick the entire time. But nonetheless, it was an amazing experience.
Well, what I love about that, though, is that, you know, you've got all these skills that are artistic. You could technically, you know, start to offer kind of fun day weekly characters for your customers as a different revenue stream if you really wanted to. You know, and
yes, I definitely could, but I've got so many hats, you know, already. It's hard to be the, you know, the talent that's sitting there, and also trying to, you know, manage everything at the same time. So,
yeah.
you know, so now my professional caricature skills go to, you know, it's a cute bar trick and fun for friends and family.
Well, let's talk about how you've used your artistic abilities throughout your store and the merchandising too. Tell us a little bit more about where you found some of these fixtures and how you've converted them to work for your space.
So a really good client of Retro Stylist Wear, Missy, she visits in Hershey every year to the Groom Expo out at Hershey. She did a shout out calling me the Duchess of Hutches, and I got this idea one time. You know, I wanted to, you know, in my blog and my Pet Boutiques group, Facebook group online, we cover a lot of merchandising issues and tips and tools of the trade for pet stores and grooming salons. And one of the things that I encourage, like you can see it, look at, she's done with this interview, I guess. Come on, Mumsy, sit up. But so one of the things that I encourage people to do, every salon and pet store, is to set up their own treat bar. And it's because I started years ago with 3 penny candy jars, and now I have a pretty large, you know, treat collection and bakery and self-serve cakes and cupcakes out of my vintage refrigerators. But it started with 3 penny candy jars, and from there, you know, I was looking at you know, because my previous retail place, I just moved in January, was quite small. The square footage was quite small, so I really had to merchandise vertically. And so what allowed me to do that was some kind of pieces of furniture of some sort that would allow me to do that vertically. And since I have a, you know, retro theme, it's really hard to find merchandising pieces that kind of go with that theme. So I kind of have to customize things to make it work for me with my colors. So I started buying hutches off of, you know, eBay or Craigslist or, you know, places like that, or Facebook Marketplace, and then painting them to match my store and adding decor and things like that. And what that allowed me to do was merchandise everything waist height and above, so using, you know, typical kind of retelling methods, and then store everything below. That way, you know, because you run into different issues where dogs might hike their leg, so you don't want to put anything too low. And hutches and dressers and things like that that I found really allowed me to be able to do that, you know, more efficiently. So that's why I'm called the Duchess of Hutches, because I get hutches and I custom them to match my store and my decor.
Yeah, and the ones that even have the doors on them, you've removed the glass.
Yes.
Lights inside so that the merchandise is more visible and easy to touch.
Yes, and yeah, so, and the other thing too is that making sure, if you can, try to get the hutches with the lighting that's already included, because then you can highlight your merchandise, you know, in your store as well.
Yeah, I love it. So before we move on, I'm curious, were there any other themes that could have become the theme for your shop, or was it always 50?
No, there was a theme, and I remember at that time I was thinking, so I'm an art history nerd, so originally I was going to go with a pop art theme. Oh, and I thought that would be fun, but it can be you know, it can be a little contemporary as well. And at that time, there was a gorgeous shop down the street on the other end of my neighborhood that had it wasn't pop art per se, but it was kind of headed towards that direction. So I always like to be original, and I was in fact in a 50s diner, and after a couple of months of going over my name, I finally settled on a name, and then I just drew out my logo on a napkin, and it was retro. So I said, that's it, we're going retro. And as the years went by, we got more and more retro, but I, you know, started with the VCT tiled floors in black and pink. And you know, that's always been a lot of fun and great for photos as well. So and then we moved to the new store, and we don't have those floors, but we, you know, we're kind of reworking that theme a little bit, introducing more colors, making it a little bit lighter and brighter. So we've changed from a black logo that I had before to a mint green logo. I just wanted a kind of a happier, brighter place for the bakery. So, you know, that's it. We've just updated our logo, as companies do, you know, so it was just a really good time to rebrand and give us a little update.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, your new space, you just got into that space and you've already accomplished so much there.
Thank you.
One of the things that the difference between your last place and this place is that you now are renting out your grooming space, and we've seen that in the video. You're renting out your grooming space now to another groomer.
Yes.
The last spot was really where you managed a bunch of groomers, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell us what that's like.
I'm sorry, what was the last thing that you said?
Oh, just to tell us what that's like. I mean, I think compared to most of the boutique owners or retail store owners, they don't have that groomer experience that you have. Going from being a groomer to managing a bunch of groomers to becoming, you know, an expert in the grooming industry and really having this top-notch salon. I'd love for you to like walk us through the journey of what it was like in the beginning and what you did that made you the success that it was before you moved.
Okay, so I'm going to premise with this, with I don't recommend this beginning part to anyone. And I think the only reason why it worked is because of my corporate kind of training and background. You know how that is. So it does kind of help give you a really strong foundation to managing a staff, training a staff, running your own operation. A lot of those things that you pick up from working in corporate retail is essentially what my experience was prior to amusement park, you know, management. So I flipped a property. I had worked for, you know, and I had some cash in the bank, and I had worked for a company in the amusement park industry for over 6 years, and I just needed a change. So I took the summer off, and I decided, you know, what do I want to do with my life? What have I always wanted to do? What are my constant themes and passions in my life? And number one was art. And so, you know, I was working in the art industry. I had also lived in Italy. I, you know, painted landscapes and sculpted and, you know, done that thing. And then I came back to the US and worked for an amazing caricature company and amusement park concessionaire company. And then when I took that break, it just brought me back to, you know, animals. Like, you know, just like many of us in the pet industry, I wanted to be a vet when I was a little girl. But I just never realized that dream. And so at this point in my life, the closest thing to that was going to be getting into the grooming and pet industry. And little did I know just how it started was right down the street. Somebody on Craigslist posted it was literally a block and a half away from where I had just moved. Somebody posted a grooming business for sale. And I'd only been to the Groomers once or twice prior to that because I had a Chihuahua. She was pretty low maintenance. And so then I really started researching the industry. I went and interviewed the owner of that business several times. I drove by. So I really started to do my due diligence and research everything about the grooming industry that I could. And then it ended with me not actually buying her business, but going to grooming school in Los Angeles, and then working on the renovation and creating a new business, you know, on the weekends when I came back. So what I did was I opened my grooming business right out of grooming school, and that is what I don't recommend because that was really tough. You know, that's school of hard knocks right there. So for the first 6 months, it was just me. And then eventually I, you know, started hiring groomers and bathers and receptionists and things like that. And I've had I've had the fortune to work with some very, very talented groomers. I don't care the skill level. You can learn something from every single groomer, you know, that you encounter. And I was very fortunate to be able to do that. And as you know, the years went on, you know, I would go through stages where I would just help out, and I would have my main groomers and staff run the grooming department. And then I went through, you know, the last several years where, you know, I was full-time grooming, and I really honed in on my grooming skills and all of that. But I had so much other things going on at the same time. So in 2014 is when I started Retro Stylist Wear. And because I felt that in the grooming industry, we needed a line that, you know, made groomers look as, you know, look and feel, you know, as passionate as, you know, all other industries do when they go to work, you know. So, you know, there was these, you know, wrinkled, boxy things that were kind of like a one size fits all. And maybe in the very beginning I wore them, but it was, you know, it was something that you just, you know, didn't look forward to working in. You didn't feel confident because you didn't feel pretty. So then I thought, you know, well, I'm going to design some apparel for my staff. And, you know, of course, I made it retro, as you can see what I'm wearing and what's behind me. And then some of my groomer friends were like, where did you get that? You know, it looks really nice. It's so much cuter than all the other stuff I've ever had. And, you know, and prior to that, I had been to the, you know, a lot of the grooming trade shows as well, looking for products that I thought would fit, you know, my salon and my staff. And I just couldn't find it. So I, you know, started creating it myself. And that's when, you know, I started going to trade shows across the country. And I started realizing that I had a lot of, you know, a lot of groomer friends and fans that, you know, would, you know, come up to me quietly and say, oh my God, I've been Facebook stalking you and Pinterest stalking you for years and Instagram stalking you. And I had no idea, because all of my posts I was doing for, you know, what I thought was my clientele. But I was amassing you know, a group of groomer and pet boutique fans, which was really lovely. And so, you know, and through the years, they've called me, they've emailed me, you know, messaged me, just questions about merchandising and how I did this in my store and why did I do that, and asking for advice and things like that. And so that's really my love for helping people, you know, and wanting to help other groomers and pet boutique owners to realize their full potential and help them out. No, like you said in the beginning, no business is perfect, but, you know, I think that we all, you know, after being almost 12 years in this industry, I've, you know, been through a thing or two. And, you know, that's kind of where that came about. And so with the Retro Stylist Wear, I was quite busy, you know, on top of my boutique and my grooming. And so I was really looking for a groomer that had, you know, that was very talented, that had, would be able to take over our high-end clientele. And I was fortunate enough to hire a very talented show groomer from Brazil. And he messaged me on my Facebook from Brazil, or actually no, by that time he had already come to the States, but he was up in Northern California. And so we started talking, and he was my employee for about 6 months. And he's incredibly talented. I mean, I can't, you know, as a groomer, owner, operator, if you're selling your business, it does not get better than an international award-winning show groomer, you know, to take over your business, you know. Right. So, you know, I really wanted somebody that my clients would relate to, that they would feel certain that their pets would get the same level of attention and detail that they were used to, because our clientele is more of an upscale clientele. So we're not kind of a shave them down, get them out shop. We're more of the, you know, hand scissor and Asian fusion and creative grooming and all of those things. Because for me, whatever it is I'm doing, it's, you know, it's my art form. And so I've, you know, I wasn't interested as an entrepreneur to shave down a bunch of dogs with a 10 blade. You know, I wanted to make them pretty and, you know, make sure that they were looking and feeling confident walking out of the salon. And my groomer, Gabriel Feitosa, now is able to carry that tradition on with, you know, my former clientele. So, you know, we've been doing that for about, you know, a little over 6 months now. And it's been, I have to say, it's been going very, very well. So it's completely his business. You know, I don't advertise that I'm a groomer at all because I'm, you know, busy with my retro stylist wear. I'm busy in my bakery. You know, it's just the beginning of my bakery. So it's, you know, it's really exciting. Do you remember you go back to that first year of creating your business and how exciting it was? And you're just excited every day to go in and tackle new, you know, problems or challenges and make new things. And that's kind of where I'm at right now with my baking. So you'll see me baking away, you know, and decorating. And, you know, people ask me like, what, are you doing that? Yes, I'm doing that because you know, I lead by example. I'm a very hands-on manager. So I have to create all of my products and make sure that, you know, I know every step of the way of what's going on in my bakery so that I can then train somebody else how to do that. So after being in research and development for the last year and a half, we finally opened, and, you know, we're still in our infancy, but it's really exciting. And being able to have, you know, kind of the traffic that comes with having a grooming salon on site that I no longer have to worry about, you know, is really good for business. So we're very, we complement each other very well, and we both bring a lot of traffic to each other, you know, in the same location. So it is a very specific and unique situation and relationship, but if anybody can get in that, I know a lot of groomers, you know, it can be very hard in their bodies, and they often want to eventually, you know, have an exit strategy. And that was my exit strategy for grooming. Although I do, you know, once in a while I'll get to groom my beautiful Mumsy. But Gabriel, I mean, why would I groom her if I've got an amazing show groomer on, you know, on site? Because I can't do better than him, and I'm okay with that. So. But, you know, when I get to cut her down, then I'll get to do all the fun creative stuff. So yeah, so that's how, you know, that's how I came about kind of separating the grooming business from, you know, the boutique and bakery.
Yeah, I love that that is an option for people who are maybe the groomer owner operator if they are ready to retire from that very physical job.
Yeah.
Be able to sell the grooming like you just did. For the other people who are trained to manage the groomers who maybe haven't done it before, one of the things that you really liked, not like with one of your management styles, is that you like to get in there, know exactly what the process is, how it works. You're very hands-on. Do you think that was really helpful to you throughout managing groomers and baiters that you had, or was that too much of micromanaging?
No. I think that there's a big issue in the grooming industry between groomer, non-groomer owner operators, and then groomers, you know, on both sides. So non-groomer owner operators do not understand how much work is involved, the physical labor of grooming daily. And I think that, you know, my best advice to any groomer, non-groomer owner operator is go to grooming school. Even if you're not going to be a full-time groomer, if that's not what you want to do, you need to understand what's involved. You need to understand that, you know, you or your front desk staff cannot do a 12 poodle pileup in one day just because, you know, the clients are calling, because you're going to murder your staff, you know. So there is a fine line of, you know, knowing how much your staff can handle based on the actual physical and time constraints that you have as a groomer. So that has been very helpful to me. In the beginning, I was a little bit more hands-off, and then I soon realized, you know, there are groomers that, you know, kind of target those new businesses, and, you know, to see what they can get away with. And I definitely have that experience as well. And I know a lot of new owners go through that same challenge. But once you get into it and you're really, you know, working on your staff and you're leading by example, then it's very hard for a groomer to get anything over on you or your staff, because you lead by example, you know. Yeah. And so it definitely has. I've had issues where I've had groomers that were, you know, trying to extort more money out of me because they didn't want to finish a really big job and they wanted more money, and I just sent them packing. I said, you know, you're not going to do that. That's not how this works. I'm your boss. So if you're not going to finish this job for the amount that you are normally paid, then you can take your tools and go. And, you know, sometimes you have to make those tough decisions, and, you know, and you're better for it.
Mm-hmm. One of the other things that you said too is that you kind of view everything as your art form, it's the art that you're doing.
Yeah.
And you also expressed something in the article where, because you had won awards, because you had even applied for these grooming awards or taken the time to be excellent and care about your excellence, that your salon having those awards grew better groomers to want to apply at your shop.
Yes, it did. I remember in the beginning having a really tough time finding groomers with the quality that I was looking for the brand that I was building. And I very quickly found out that, you know, it's not necessarily the experience of a groomer, it's more about the training. You know, you're only as good as your training. And so I would have groomers that would be in the industry for 30 years that would not even pass a, you know, I wouldn't hire as my bather, you know, and just because of the quality of their work. And a lot of times that goes back to your education and who trained you, and keeping up on those skills, you know, because there's new techniques and new tools all the time. And that's why it's really good to go to trade shows, because you get to keep up with all of that. So, you know, that definitely has helped me, you know, a great deal, you know, with that.
Yeah, no, I think that's so smart. So you touched upon the future of Bow Wow Beauty Shop as a bakery and all the research that you've done there too. Let's talk about that, you know, because well, even with Retro Stylist Wear, the thing that I love about you, Leel, is that you diversify.
Yeah.
You do not just say, I'm only going to solely rely on this grooming revenue to pay my bills and to stay in business.
Right. Yeah, I think that it's important to, you know, it's you know, like investing in the stock market. You need to diversify your portfolio. I think that, you know, for a small business and, you know, being an entrepreneur, I think having, you know, various forms of revenue streams is very important, because, you know, I opened in 2006 and 2008 is when the Great Recession hit. So, you know, that took some, you know, that was extremely challenging. You know, if the big banks didn't know, how was, you know, I supposed to know? So, you know, that's where you learn how to see how much, you know, different types of income that you can generate. And I am very inquisitive by nature, and, you know, obviously very artistic. So, you know, whatever it is that I'm doing, whether it's grooming or caricatures or sculpting or painting or, you know, designing fashion, it's, you know, a lot. It's, for me, it's a mistress. Creativity is a mistress that you can never please, right? I mean, I'm always doing something creative. And that's just, you know, who I am as a person. That's where I'm, you know, most happy. And I hope that whatever it is that I'm passionate about, that I can share with others. And so it's, you know, my store is really a canvas in order to be able to do that, create kind of new pieces for others to enjoy. So that's what I'm not an egotistical artist in that I do everything for myself. You know, I started Retro Stylist Wear and, you know, trade show to trade show, oh, we don't like this, we want a higher neck, we want shorter sleeves, we want, you know, the zippers here, and, you know, all of those things. And, you know, and I listen because I want to make people happy. So, you know, that's really the fundamental thing. I want to leave a, you know, a kind and happy footprint, you know, in the world. And I just happen to be passionate about being creative and the pet industry. So that's where I'm at now. So yeah, and you know, even when I got into this industry, I went from, you know, a district manager for a amusement park art concessionaire company, and then I opened my Bow Wow, and then somebody's like, why? I don't understand. That's not even related. And I said, well, it's just something new, and I've always really loved dogs, so here I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wonder, is this just your own spirit, your light and personality, or do you have an influence in your life that have put this philosophy on you and bringing joy and kindness?
Yeah, I just think that I think that that's not a very lofty goal, and I think we need, you know, more of it. So I like to spread as much joy as I can, and you know, that's just, you know, this is just the format, you know, that's allowing me to do that at this moment.
So wonderful. So for everyone watching live, you're welcome. Sorry for the echo that we're hearing a little bit. I'm trying to fix it. I don't think we're getting very far there. But the time that we have left, if you would like to write in the chat feed any questions you might have for her, share them with Leel. And while we wait for any of those, Leel, I'd love for you to just share with us some trends that you're seeing. You know, we go to a lot of those grooming shows. Compared to shows that I go to, I tend to go to a lot of the bigger trade shows. You've been to a lot of the regional shows. What are some of the trends you're seeing there?
I'm sorry, what the challenges or the changes?
Yeah, trends, like trends.
Oh, trends. Wow. that's a yeah, you know what, I think it's kind of like every show, you know, it kind of, I think grooming, you know, it changes every year, obviously, and every trade show, you know, there's like some new thing that's coming out that every groomer has to have, and I've definitely been, you know, party to that. But in general, I think that the grooming industry, I feel that we're still kind of in the Wild West. You know, we've come a long way, but there's still lots of great opportunity. And I think that we, you know, are headed to a place where it's becoming a more professional career path and environment, you know, because people are raising their standards. The education and the knowledge and everything that's out there is, you know, is increasing, you know, day by day compared to where it used to be. So there's still lots of opportunity in this industry for people to, you know, be different and try something new. So that's always really exciting. And just the talent, I mean, the amount of competitors that were competing 10 years ago versus today is really, you know, amazing. You know, when you see all the competitors on stage, you know, working on Bichons or, you know, standard poodles or the creative grooming. The creative grooming is absolutely stunning and amazing. It's always a big crowd pleaser. And I don't know what I with Mumsy one day, who knows, I might be on that stage. But you know, it is something that I've always loved, and I've done creative grooming. But other than that, I think just the continuous education and kind of, you know, upscaling the professionalism of this industry is definitely a trend, and I'm very happy about that. That was one of my goals, you know, with my own shop, because I feel like I don't know, I'm always that underdog. I was, you know, really nerdy fact, but I was the captain of the flag team in high school. That was the beginning of my management training. But you know, because in 10th grade, I was a sophomore, and I was named, you know, captain of the flag team, and I had to manage the juniors and the seniors. Oh. And that was very irregular. They did not like that. It was usually a senior that got that role. So, what, and when I was in high school, it wasn't cool to be on the, be the captain of the flag team, or be on the flag team, but somehow I made it cool because I was confident about it, because I thought it was really cool. And just like, in the grooming industry, it is a really cool, fun job that, we're not playing with puppies all day long, but we get that access. If you're an animal lover, it's a great place to be, whether you're baking or daycare or grooming, or boutiquing. You can't train passion. So, having that passion, being able to realize it in an industry like that is really, why most of us are here, right? So, otherwise, I would have closed in the last Great Recession if I wasn't so passionate about, staying on. And now, this many years later, I get to be here with you. So, that's
And you
been
get to be on the cover of a magazine.
That's right. It's very exciting.
Well, again, if anyone has any questions, feel free to chime in there. But I would love for you to share your favorite podcast. You love podcasts, and you've given me a few. Why don't you share with everybody what are your favorites and why?
Well, I think that, I mentioned before, the Girl Boss is a really good podcast. I am, although I love all people, I do feel that, kind of supporting women and women business owners, that is a passion of mine, because I think that we need more of it, and even in the grooming industry, in the pet industry, the grooming industry is one of the few industries where it's almost, almost all woman-led businesses. It's one of the few industries that are like that. So, I like to listen to a podcast like Girl Boss, because it just kind of invigorates me and keeps me kind of on that mission to support my people, my pack of, female owner entrepreneurs, because I think we should all do that no matter what. And I think bringing more kindness to this industry, because you can get to the point where, because there's so many women in the industry, people tend to be a little catty or jealous or things like that. But I think that if we support one another, it brings us all up.
Yes, I definitely agree with that as well. Mm-hmm. Very wise words there. So, all right, Tia has a question here. She is asking for tips that you would give someone who wanted to expand and add among their store selections. So I'm going to assume that Tia is mostly maybe services and grooming. So when she's asking, when did you know that you were ready to add a bakery and boutique?
So right off the bat, in the beginning, when I first opened in 2006, right away I knew that I was going to do retail. I had a small retail section, selection, and so it took some years to kind of figure out who my clientele was and merchandise accordingly. And for me, retail, because of my former corporate retailing background, working for Ann Taylor on Madison Avenue in Beverly Hills, and other stores, the Limited Corporation and such, I knew that's pretty easy for me. I can do it in my sleep. I did it a lot of years. So the boutique portion was pretty easy. Now, expanding to a bakery was, I kind of went kicking and screaming, because with my already crazy trade show, boutique, grooming, retro Stylist Wear schedule, I didn't really want to get into a new venture, because I just didn't have time, honestly. However, I had been offering cakes and cupcakes out of my self-serve vintage refrigerators for years, and it makes up around 60% of my retail business. So when my current baker retired last year, I had to come up with a new place, to get those cakes and cupcakes. And I had kind of you know, thought about doing it for many years. You know, like, oh yeah, maybe in the future, yeah, I'll think about that, you know, that kind of thing. But when I did a lot of research for about a year and a half, and then we moved the store, I thought, you know, I've got the space, I can see it, I can visualize that bakery in the space. And I was able to work out with my groomer, sell him my business and have him, you know, have that constant stream of clientele still coming in. That's when it just kind of, all the pieces of the puzzle just kind of fit together. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say, Tia, if you already have customers, like she just said, if you've got a stream of people coming in, then that's, you might, if you have the space, you might as well start adding some retail products.
Yeah,
you don't have to go deep. You don't have to, you know, just kind of get an assortment of the things that you think that your customers would get excited about. Don't buy what you are going to love, because your customers may not want that.
Yeah.
Buy what your customers are going to want, and just kind of like start testing the waters.
Yes, and if you're a groomer and you're just starting to add retail, I always tell this to groomers because it's so easy for them to figure it out. You know, in the beginning, I didn't have established clientele, so I had to, you know, fumble around and purchase a lot of inventory that didn't make sense. I tried to be something, you know, have something for everyone, and that doesn't always work out. It does in some models, but it didn't in mine. And so, you know, if you're a groomer, you already know, let's say, the top 5 to 10 types of dogs that you are grooming regularly. That's how you can figure out who your clientele is. Look at their average ticket spend. How, you know, are they, you know, toy breeds? Are they, you know, large dogs? Are you in the country? Are you more urban? Are you city? And that's kind of where you want to see, where you want to start making your purchase decisions. It helps you a lot. So if you're an established groomer and you have, you know, you'll know who your top 5 to 10 type of dog breeds are, and you can kind of purchase based on that, so that you don't have to, you know, make the mistakes like I did and just buy a ton of stuff and, you know, and try to figure it out.
We have all been there.
Exactly.
I think in 2006, when I opened as well, as when Paris Hilton and, you know, Nikki, they had their little dogs, and I never had a little dog. I do now, and I love them to death. But they had little dogs, and I bought all these Ed Hardy T-shirts and all these things. I bet I spent so much money on little dog clothes that were way too expensive, and I never sold any of it. I think I ended up, when I closed that business, donating most of it to Paws Chicago. But so yes, don't go cheap and heavy on anything. You know, just start at the beginning. And I would also say, if you want to do bakery, you don't also have to go as big as Leel's done here by getting your own equipment and baking yourself. There are lots of bakeries out there who you could just start with a small countertop bakery. And I think, Leel, you're even going to, you know, eventually your goal is to expand into wholesale with your bakery line, isn't it?
Yes, e-commerce, retail, and wholesale. And, you know, we had our, you know, we've been dabbling in that, you know, a little bit already. And so that's very exciting to get those custom orders and things like that. But we've been, you know, what makes it a little easier for me is that I've already been, you know, selling gourmet treats and cakes and cupcakes that were of my design by other bakers for, you know, several years, for, you know, probably over 6 years or so. So that whole time frame has allowed me, you know, to do the research, because I know, you know, my clientele and what kind of cakes and cupcakes and the decor and the colors and the packaging and how to merchandise and all of those things. So what's nice is that my future wholesale clients have the benefit of that experience, that I've already been the retailer, so I can just, you know, basically let them know this is the best way that this sells. And so, as opposed to just being a, you know, a manufacturer that's just trying to get my stuff, you know, in all the stores and not really knowing how to retail it as well. So it gives me kind of both sides of the coin, which is, you know, been a really fun ride.
I love it. Well, as we end here tonight, do you have any final parting words from our queen of cool for the pet industry?
I would say that, you know, honestly, just try those new and different things, even if you think you'll fail. I mean, you definitely, I have failed a ton of times. In my retelling, in so many different services or product offerings or things, but I always keep trying, because sometimes there's a very fine line between genius and madness. And so a lot of my ideas that now I get to see in other people's stores and different things, that are on Pinterest, people were like, that's crazy. Why are you doing that? And, in the beginning, I think I would not think that's a good thing. But now when I hear that, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna try that out. And, because, even if people take those ideas, I still have more. And that's really my talent is just being creative. So if somebody takes something, I'm going to have something else, and that's just how I work. So I would say just keep trying, even if you'll fail, just keep trying, because then one day you could be on the cover of this magazine.
Yeah, you never know. Well, Leel, thank you so much for joining us tonight for this interview. Thank you for all that you're doing in the pet industry. And for everyone watching, thank you for tuning in and for joining us for Pets Plus Live Beyond the Pages. I know that your time is so important to you, so thank you so much for coming and joining us. My name's
Thank you so much.
Mumsy's like, yeah, I gotta get in there too. Our next Pets Plus, I wonder what pets we'll have on the next one. Our next one is, like I said, April 23rd, where we're going to be interviewing our second place and our third place winners, Found, Adopt and Shop, as well as Urban Pooch Canine Center. And if you'd like to learn more about Leel's company, it's retrostylistwear.com. Is that right?
Yes.
And if you want to learn more about Pet Boss Nation, visit petbossnation.com. And if you want to check out petsplusmag.com, it is where they have the digital version of their magazine, as well as hundreds, if not thousands by now, small business tips to help you make more money and save more time, all the things that we all want as entrepreneurs and as pet bosses, right? All right, everybody. I will have a good night. I'll see you next time. And Leel and Mumsy, bye.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.